Hello, thank you for joining today. We're waiting for our special guest, and he'll be on just a second. He is joining us. Hello, Life After Felony and DM Kodiak. We're waiting for our special guest to join us. He's linking right now. So I'll say a few things while I'm waiting for him to join. I came up with this series because I'm really interested in people's stories. We all have a story. We have a comeback story, things that we've endured in life that we have to bounce back from. And so I'm interviewing people from all over the world that have gone through something, major that they've had to build, and recover from. So they're going to be sharing their tools. They'll be sharing different steps they took to be able to, hello, Gracious, Gina speaks, but they'll be sharing their tools and strategies to help us as we navigate life. We're in uncertain times right now. So, it's just best, I feel it's best practice. Hold on, he's joining. Okay. And so, as I was saying, he's joining right now. His name is Yancy Berry, and he is a certified personal trainer, celebrity personal trainer, and a certified life coach. So there he is. Hey, Yancy.
Hi, Nikki. How are you today? Good to see you.
Good to see you. And guys, you can go ahead and put and comments, to support us in the comment section. We'll see it, and we'll answer those as they come. But again, welcome. I'm just so excited to have you here. I was sharing with the audience that my whole purpose in doing this is just to focus on women and men who have comeback stories. And we all have that, as you know, some different things that we've experienced in life that we have to bounce back from. And I have found in my journey that is so awesome when I have some tools from friends. I don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
I can use what you did to get through so that I can be successful. So just thank you so much for coming, Yancy. I just appreciate you. And I just want you to share a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, Nikki. Hey, good to see you, everyone who came today. A couple of friends of mine are saying hello. What's going on, Brian? A comeback story, it's an amazing thing because we all need it, because basically everybody falls down. If you want your life to be perfect, you're going to have a tough go round, and if anything, I think what I have to offer is that I just fail more than most people, Nikki,
Yeah. I don't know. I might have you beat.
The reason I fail a lot, I think, is because I try a lot. I'm willing to try new things. And once you learn that failure is nothing but feedback, it really makes a lot of things easier. A lot of people are so stuck because they work so hard on being perfect, and then they can't make anything happen. But once you realize failure is just feedback, and it shows you what doesn't work, and then you can adjust from there. Who I am
like
is
that. You need a t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, I like one of the sayings I like. I accidentally said it in a seminar like 2 or 3 years ago. Was I said fail forward, and someone said, dude, what an amazing thing to say. And I'm like, yeah, fail forward. You fail, you get up, you try it again. You fail, you get up, you try it again. And if you do that enough times, you're going to find what succeeds. And then you're going to try what succeeded. And that's going to have a little bit of a difficulty. All feedback and just continuing on. So, fail forward. It's one of my tricks to success in life.
I love it. I love it. Well, one of the reasons that I wanted you to come on is that, we met at Equinox, and you personally trained me, and you dealt with my whining and everything else. But, I was so impressed with not only that, it's your spirit. For you, I think,
thank you.
Some people, I think that they just train to train, they may collect a paycheck or what have you, but I really felt the connection there, and that you were a friend to me, and you really cared about my well-being, health-wise, and not even that, spiritually as well. We've had conversations about our spiritual walks, and, you sent me things, motivational things on, different pastors. I want to just say that I appreciate you so much for seeing the full picture, You know, sometimes we focus just on the body, just the mind, you know, just the spiritual aspect. And you, to me, go above and beyond, you know, and I just want to
Thank
say
you,
I
NIKKI.
appreciate you. And I think you're a voice that's needed, you know, right now, especially in times like, you know, what we're going through. And not only that,
Thank you, NIKKI.
you're a celebrity trainer. So one day, you know. But yeah, so tell me specifically if you want to just kind of focus on something that you experienced. I mean, you mentioned several mistakes that you've gone through. I want the audience to really walk away from this conversation knowing what they can do and have those tools to apply to their life immediately.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, probably, and I wouldn't even call it a failure. For me, a big part of my life is being clean and sober. And
Okay.
I've been clean and sober for 21 years. I got clean and sober when I was 26.
Yay!
And I'm now
Congratulations.
40, and thank you. And I'm now 47.
You're
So,
lying. You're lying.
you know, that was kind of a big deal for me. I started using drugs when I was either 12 or 13, you know, and it was the first thing that actually made me feel that I could connect with people. You know, I was always,
Right.
I can't say that I was a shy individual, but I never felt comfortable in my skin. So for me to do something like get high and hang out with the cool kids in my area was a way
Yeah.
for me to connect with them. And I took that for some form of a connection point and esteem, and it was actually the opposite, you know. And you know, and from a very early age, before then, I just never felt comfortable in my skin, you know. So when I found that way to connect, I thought it was a good thing, and I did as much of that as I could.
Good.
Fortunately for me, my mom put me in a really good, pretty strict school. So, you know, when I stopped hanging out with one group like that who did all that kind of stuff, and I went to this other school, I couldn't, you know, I had no one to connect with in that way because no one was doing that. I was in a school that everyone was pretty good kids. Not that you're bad kids if you do anything like that, but they were just
Right.
people who were just they were doing sports and stuff like that. So I did that for a while until the end of high school, and then when the end of high school came, I started hitting, quite frankly, the bottle really heavy. I did a lot of drugs, and I just used that as a way to make myself feel better. And I did that pretty hard for about
To
18
numb the
months or
pain.
so. Yeah, until I started trying to get sober. And that journey of trying to get sober lasted about 6 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was in and out of sobriety, in and out of Alcoholics Anonymous until I finally it finally stuck. Fortunately, at about 26, which was important because I was pretty suicidal at that time. So my biggest and first comeback story was getting clean and sober. You know, I just kept trying. You know, I kept failing and kept getting up and trying, kept failing, getting up and trying, and then fortunately it stuck, and that opened a path for me. And once that path was open, then it was like a matter of whatever I wanted my life to be. And then it was just one after another thing that I would try and fail, try and fail, try and fail. And then something stuck. Boom. I became a financial advisor at about age 30. I did that,
Wow.
fortunately, very well for about 4 years, you know, and I learned the value of connecting with people in a different way. I connected with business partners. So
I
what I did
love
was I
it.
found financial advisors who were already rolling, and it was like, hey, what can I do to work with you? And they're like, you know what? You can go find new clients. You know, I had barely graduated high school, and I was working with all these people who had masters and PhDs in finance.
Wow.
So what I did was, hey, I'll do the grunt work, but I'm going to take half. And they said fine, because they didn't want to do the grunt work.
Yeah.
So a big part of business is finding out what you're good at and connecting with somebody on that level. You know, now I'm in a different spot. Now I have business partners who do things that are different than I do. You know, now I happen to be the person who does the coaching, or I happen to be the person who does the training, and I'll have somebody else who does operations, or somebody else now who does marketing or sales, you know, and we just connect on that level.
Yes.
It's just a matter of working with others, and that's one of the ways that I fell for it, but there have been many.
I love it. I love that story. And I want to take you back to that recovery period that you said 6 years. Was it 6 years?
It was 6 years of in and out. It was six and or maybe 7 years from age 19 to age 26 was
Okay.
in and out of recovery, in and out of sobriety.
Okay. So at your lowest point, I think that's where I want to go, because I feel like when you're at your lowest point, those conversations that we have, you know, and I know you're a coach as well, and it's like that mental conversation, you know, it has to be so solid. That self-talk, that positive self-talk. So what did you say to change it, to make, when you made that decision to really be serious, what was the conversation that you had with
You know
yourself?
what? I wish that it was as solid of a self-talk as I have right now, but it really
Okay.
wasn't. For me,
Okay.
most of the talk I had that was self-talk in that final 6 months before I got sober was, should I do this anymore or should I not? Okay, I
Okay.
had no money. I had no money. I had the clothes in my closet and I had a 9 millimeter gun. That's it. Those were
Wow.
literally my entire possessions. And I'd sit at the kitchen table and I'd spin that gun around at the table all the time. Do I
Wow.
want to do this? Do I not want to do this? I did it for like 6 months and I just
Wow.
fortunately never had the guts to pull the trigger, you know? And then
I'm
it
glad you
was a
didn't.
couple, yeah, me
I'm
too.
here. Yeah. No, we're
Me
glad you're
too.
here. We need you. Yeah, we need you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. And then one thing I did was I think the thing I said, the most important self-talk I ever said was, let's try again. You know,
Um,
the most important thing I said was let's try again. And I went back to Alcoholics Anonymous at age 26. And fortunately, for some reason, my bottom was heavy enough. I knew that I basically had to get clean and sober or I was gonna die. And I
wow.
think when you realize what's your alternative, and if the alternative is bad, that sometimes be a very good thing. It can be a very big momentum builder because one of the things I do in coaching is this. In coaching, when I have somebody want to work toward a goal,
Uh-huh.
I don't just have them look at the goal. Hey, what's the goal? What do you get if you get this thing? I also
Right.
have them look at what happens if you don't get it.
That's good.
What does your life look like if you don't get that goal? That's a
Yes.
big deal for me. It's not just the carrot, it's the stick as well. And the
Yes.
reason why is because people will so often move away from pain as much as they'll move toward pleasure.
That's
So for me,
good. Yeah.
when it came to getting sober, it was, hey, if I don't get sober, I'm probably gonna die. So moving away from that pain is what propelled me forward. And then I could start working toward things. So when it comes to coaching, that's a very valuable tool. Hey, what do you get? What are all the feelings that you get? What is all the accolades? What is all the possessions? What is all the internal well-being you're going to get if you do this thing? Great.
Right.
Guess what else? What do you feel if you don't? What is your life going to
Mm-hmm.
look like in 5 years if you don't move in this direction?
Right.
Like get grim with it. What is your
Right.
life going to look like if you don't have this thing, this health, this
Right.
goal, this relationship?
Right.
And usually, if you can go to a place where it looks pretty grim, and then you
Mhm.
have both. Then you have the
Right.
carrot and you have the stick, and you can use them both effectively.
Right. I love that. I love it because it's both sides of the coin. You know,
Hmm.
so I want to ask you though, what do you tell the person, your client, that is disappointed in life, frustrated, wants to give up, like you said when you were at that table, for the 6 months, just contemplating life and, maybe purpose and destiny, your future.
Yeah,
So what do you tell
yeah.
that person?
Yeah, the person who's like that doesn't tend to be a person who owns a business or is a writer or something like that. It usually tends to be somebody who's clean and who's trying to get clean and sober in AA. Like
Okay.
they're the kind of person who's like, I'm gonna die if I don't get this.
Right.
And yeah, that kind of person, I say, okay, well, tell me about your feelings, share it out, because a lot of times getting those feelings out, you have a sounding board and someone who can hear them versus when you're by yourself and you have only have those thoughts, they
Yes.
reverberate a lot louder. It's like almost like there's a saying, share your successes and they double, share your pain and it's cut in half. I don't know if
Oh,
you heard that saying,
I
but
need to be writing this
it's
stuff down.
I know, right? Well, hopefully it'll
Give me
be
the
on your
quote.
IG live. It'll be on everybody's on her
Yeah.
IGTV afterwards if you want to watch it
Right.
afterwards.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
share your successes and they're doubled. Share your pain and they're cut in half.
Okay.
So share that pain with somebody. We get the pain out. Okay. Now what do we want to do about it? Okay.
There's a
We get,
question. There's a question. She says, "Who did you have in your life during this time to look up to? Who did
yeah,
you look
yeah.
up to?"
I'll tell you, there's a couple people. The first people were all the people in the books that I read that were success stories. Okay.
Right.
For me, a lot of my mentors I never met. A lot of my people were like people like Tony Robbins
Mm-hmm.
or people like Don Miguel Ruiz, the person who wrote, the Four Agreements, or
Okay.
the one big person in my life at that time was my AA sponsor. My
Okay.
AA sponsor, he only had one thing that I wanted. He was sober. That's it.
Mm.
He wasn't my life coach. He was just a person to help me get sober. and he had that thing. So he was a role model. He had what I
Right.
wanted, so I did what he did. And fortunately, he had me do things like meditate, things like get,
Yes.
things like get
The hard
introspective
stuff. To stay
yeah,
still.
take 2 seconds to not talk.
Yeah.
And for me that was huge. That meditation gave me a little bit of space in between my thoughts and action. Because when I was young, NIKKI, I acted on every single thought I had.
Okay.
Every single thought, good or bad, I did it. Oh, you want to
Right.
do? Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. And it led into
The bandwagon
calamity.
technique. I call it the bandwagon technique. You jump on all the, I do it
Yeah,
too.
it was calamity. So
Yeah.
meditation gave me 2 seconds of thought before I would speak.
Okay.
Because a lot of my stuff was saying whatever was on my mind, and that doesn't work every time in relationship. That doesn't work every time with your boss. You don't need to tell your boss every single thing you're thinking. You
Right.
don't need to tell the person in your relationship every single thing you're thinking. Sometimes just sit with that thought and then pick the one you want to share, right? So
Right.
there's that.
I love it. I love it. So Yancy, what do you think is the key ingredient that we have to have in life? Spiritual, physical, mental. How do we tie them all together to be successful?
Wow, what a question. I'm actually I'm really
Sorry.
glad when I don't know questions beforehand, because
It's
you're
in
gonna
there.
have
It's in there.
the key ingredient, I think.
What do we need to be? What do we need to have? What do we need to possess to be able to be successful in all three?
I gotta say willingness to try.
That's good. Mm-hmm.
I think the key ingredient is willingness.
Yes.
If you don't have willingness to try things, you're gonna be stuck with only doing the things that you've tried before.
Absolutely.
If you don't have that willingness to try new things, try new workouts, try new books, try to connect with new people. If you don't have that willingness to try, you're definitely gonna be stuck.
Right.
For sure. So I think that's probably the key.
Absolutely. We all have to, especially now tell everybody, because there's some people that just joined, tell them what you do and a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I do a couple of things. I'm a personal trainer, so I train every single day. I get with people right here on Zoom, or sometimes now in person. The quarantine people seem to get a little bit more free and comfortable. I'm working with people and still social distancing in person and personal training, but I also life coach. I work with people, and my specialization is addiction recovery. So I work with executives or creatives in their whole life scheme, but a lot of it has to do with staying and getting sober. And then I also do things like I happen to mentor as well. That's a different animal. Like I work with people in Alcoholics Anonymous just to help them get clean and sober. And then I also happen to do like things like work with my book club. I have a
Yes.
book club
Talk about
that
I've been.
yeah, I host a book club every Wednesday night, and I have for a couple, maybe like 2.5 years in a row, but overall about 5 years. And we read personal development books together. We literally read them together on
Yes.
Wednesday night, and we have discussion about it in life. And yes, Shay said book club is awesome.
Hey.
Shay is right. Yeah, book club's great. We read together and we come up with game plans of how to live in this world and how to get better. And book club now what we're doing at the end of every book club is we're going around and we're sharing, hey, what way are you going to get better this week? Something small, something big. And if you find something to get better at 52 weeks of a year, you're going to have a pretty good year. So
yeah.
We find ways to get better, and we come back the next week and say, hey, what was that like? And sometimes people forgot, or sometimes I forgot.
Yeah.
But we try to get on that bandwagon and keep growing together. Group energy is huge, and we really try to capitalize.
Well, and I thank you for inviting me to be a part of it. And I've gone a couple of times when I've been able to, and I love the ambiance, like the environment that, when we could go and actually be there. Now it's Zoom. You do it on Zoom, right?
We do it on Zoom now.
Okay. But, I love the whole feeling that you have created, and it's, it's so purposeful. Everyone is, warm welcome. And so I just really appreciate that you are doing that and consistent about doing that, because I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure. For sure. So tell me a little bit more about what your next steps are. Do you feel as we are going through, this pandemic and many different, Black Lives Matter and such, what do you feel is
Yeah.
your take on it?
Yeah. So my take on everything that's going right now, I have a lot of next steps, but my next step is this, watching everything and sharing everything that's going on social media is amazing. It's
Yeah.
how we got to this point now. Everybody's sharing what's going on. Everybody saying, look at this, and sharing about it and talking about it and commenting on it. And I think that is absolutely amazing. And I'm so grateful. I personally am an action-oriented human being. So I've been sharing very little. I'm trying to do is find out what action steps that we can actually take to make this better. And for me, it's going to be a lot less talking and a lot more doing. So what I'm trying to do is I'm looking for law enforcement to get involved with. I'm looking for people in law enforcement to actually connect with and come up with a game plan, just like I do with my clients every week. Hey, what is it we're going to do to get better this week? I'm looking for people in law enforcement. I have a couple people in mind, one in particular. Hey, what can we do to team up to make this a better thing for everyone? Better for law enforcement too, because if people see that law enforcement is working to make this better with us, guess what? We're going to like law enforcement a lot more.
Exactly.
And guess what? And law enforcement will like us a lot more, right? So how can we team up to take action in this regard? And that's my thing. And that's what I'm working on right now. I might not share about it a ton. I share about it a good amount, but it's all about action for me, because all the talking in the world isn't going to fix anything. It's what action steps are we going to do to create community between us and police enforcement.
Yeah, I love that. I'm the same. I've been kind of quiet about it just because, to me, I don't want to fight that way. I want to find other alternatives to be able to be a support, because I do. I mean, it's an issue, and that's for sure. But I just choose the nonviolent path and looking to connect with people that are doing the same. So I love that you're doing that. I love that you're choosing the peaceful approach, but it's definitely solution focused, which I know that's what we need right now. No, for sure.
Let's get into action, because guess what? I'm going to connect with a law enforcement professional, and we're going to try something, and it's going to have a result. It's going to have a result. Yeah. It's either nothing's going to happen from it or something good, and it's going to be feedback so we can try something else. You try that. Oh, it doesn't work that well. Or it does work well. Let's do more of that, or let's try something else. It's all about action. And that's why when I coach someone or I train someone, we take action and we get a result, and we change and we change and we change and we change until we get success. It's the number one thing is try something. People say, Yoda said, don't try, do. Well, I'm not Yoda. I say try. It's okay. Keep trying stuff, and you'll get better and better and better until you are really kicking butt in this world.
Right. What if you fail? What if you don't have courage? What do you do?
Well, if you don't have courage, the thing to do is leverage. And the way you get leverage is to say, hey, what is all the good stuff that's going to come if I work toward this? Get really clear. Get crystal clear. Write it down. What's all the pros of trying this thing? And again, what happens if I don't?
Right.
What does my life look like in 5 years if I don't do a damn thing right now?
Not good.
Yeah. People don't look at that. People don't look at that. Get leverage. Leverages, and this is a great Tony Robbins technique. And I'm like you. I don't try to reinvent the wheel a ton. I do try to do new things, but what I do is, hey, what works for other people? One of Tony Robbins' great things is get leverage. What's all the stuff that's going to come in a positive way if you do this thing? But also, what will happen if you don't? That way you have the carrot and the stick, boom, and you can use them both.
I love it. They said it's going to be a process, plan voting, positive forward movement. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It won't happen overnight, but.
Yeah, well, the next initiative that I'm talking about, people, and I want people to really push, because first of all, for the first time in history, we have everybody on board with this. Yeah. And what I mean by that is every single color, gay, straight, every single person is on board with you probably shouldn't be killing somebody unless they're doing something like trying to kill you. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Everyone's on board. Right?
Praise the
Everybody's on board, and
Lord.
everyone's not just standing by and watching. Now people are like, oh shoot, this is a real thing that's still happening in 2020.
Yeah.
The next initiative is this: vote early. I'm telling you, I just voted on vote day like a few months back. Man, it took me like 3 hours. Don't do that. Either vote via mail, or if you can't vote via mail, every single place is open for early voting. Every place that you can vote now, you can before vote day. Go to vote early. That's what I'm going to do. You know, if I can't mail in, I have a mail-in vote. But if I don't mail in, I'm going to go to my voting place early. That's the next initiative.
I like that.
If you don't like people who are in office, get rid of those mofos.
Yeah.
Get them out. Get them up out of there.
I love your cuss words because they trying to sneak in there. I'm not ready for it.
I worked on not cursing this year. That was one of my big things, and I almost nailed it. I'm not perfect, but I'm getting there.
Oh, I do also. But somebody said, yeah. But yeah. So tell us, what is your thing to coach about? Your favorite topic?
I think I think one of my favorite tools that this might be something that I invented. It's something that I've created, I believe, over the last 4 years of coaching. Okay. It's called the twofold success, the twofold way to combat problems. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
The twofold solution to problems, and it's something that I've developed.
We would have known anyway, so.
I know. It's called the twofold solution to problems, and it's for stuff just like this. Okay. Guess what? We have a major problem. We have a major problem today. It is violence of police toward blacks and killing in America. Right. That's one of them. It can be any problem. It can be a personal problem. It's the twofold solution to problems. And the twofold solution to problems is this. Number one, what are all the things that you can actually be grateful for that are directly a result of this problem? Okay. The second thing is, what opportunities are a direct result of this problem? Okay. And the reason I look at things this way is because when problems come, we do the same thing individually as we do as a group. All we do is friggin' complain. Here's what's wrong with it. And of course you do. Of course, when problems are happening or challenges are happening, things are tough, things are happening. So of course you're gonna complain. Hey, let me grab a neighbor who I can complain to. Who can I talk to?
Anybody.
I got a girlfriend on the phone. I got a boyfriend on the phone. Who can I complain to? Everyone's doing that, and I understand. But do you want to get out of that? Okay. Let's come up with 10 things that we can be grateful for that are directly a result of this problem. Right. Okay? Or directly related to this problem. Like, for instance, let's take for instance something like this. Okay? Police brutality in America. What's a few things that we can be grateful for that are directed with? Number one, I live in America. Okay. That's something that I can be grateful for. Right. I don't live in a third world country where you can't speak up about this. Because guess what? That exists. There's places where authorities are killing people that the people do not have an outlet. Yeah. They don't have an outlet like the internet. They don't have the outlet like speaking online. They can't go vote. Yeah. There's people who don't have freedom of speech at all. Right. Okay. What's another thing to be grateful for? Guess what? I'm alive today, and I can roam the streets of America right now. Right. Where this can potentially happen. There's places where people can't do that. There's places where the only thing that people can go is that place where they have to mine diamonds. Yeah. And they're home. Yeah. That's it. You know, if you put your mind to it, you can find 10 things to be grateful for that are directly related to any challenge or any problem, whether it's personal or as a group. Second thing is this: what's the opportunity? What's the opportunity here with what's going on? I can tell you one opportunity is for the entire world to connect and bond with each other. Mm-hmm. Right now. If it wasn't for this, everyone would be dealing with their own stuff, and we would not be dealing with this problem as a group like we are right now. Right. What's another opportunity? The opportunity is this: to, let's say, for instance, because what happened yesterday and this weekend was people tried peaceful protests forever, and it didn't work. Yeah. Right? Right. So what happened was people started wilding out there. Yeah. Okay. People are like, "What's up?" This should be a peaceful protest. Guess what? People tried peaceful protests. Colin Kaepernick tried kneeling. He tried that. And people weren't happy with that. And guess what? It continued and continued and continued till it hit an absolute boiling point. So what's the opportunity now? The opportunity is to go out there with people and clean up our environment. Okay. I saw all up and down Melrose Avenue, all up and down Beverly Boulevard, all up and down Santa Monica, cleaning up together. Okay. So awesome. It was actually a but
it's a delay.
Yep. What's another opportunity? It's an opportunity to connect with law enforcement.
Right.
If this wasn't happening, I wasn't going to connect with law enforcement. If we do this right, I know it's a long shot, but if we do this right, it can be better in the future than it ever was in the past. Okay. And that's just 3 opportunities off the top of my head. There's all kinds of there's business opportunities. There's all kinds of stuff. Okay?
Right. Because people are listening. People are listening and paying attention now.
Yes. There's all types. What are things that you can be grateful for, and what are the opportunities? And I teach that with every single person who gets on the phone with me and complains about something. Doesn't matter if it's a life coaching person. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if it's an AA sponsee. It doesn't matter if it's myself, because guess what? I have all types of problems and all types of challenges, and I make all kinds of mistakes. And then I go, after I get done whining about it for about 30 minutes max, 5 minutes minimum, I go, okay, what can I be grateful for? Let's get into gratitude and into getting into whining. You feel a lot better when you're in gratitude. Then your spirit's open. And then guess what? If your brain starts to look, if your brain is the type of brain that's always looking for things to be grateful for, it gets pretty good at it. You know?
Oh yeah.
Have you, like, think about driving. The first time you drove, it was pretty hard.
Right.
But you got pretty good at it because you kept trying and trying and trying. If your brain is always looking for things to be grateful for, boom, it gets pretty good at it. If it's always looking for opportunity, boom, it gets pretty good at it. And then you have a brain that's well trained.
Yes.
Okay. And it's better than another
opportunity. Gratitude and opportunity. I love
every time a challenge comes up. Now guess what? Give people the space to feel what they're feeling. So if you're in the middle of a big challenge, or guess what? That man, George Floyd, and many others before him were killed. Feel the pain. I'm not saying don't feel that pain, but after you feel the pain, after you see what's going on, get into what can you be grateful for. And only reason why is because when you have a lifted up spirit, you can take better action. And what's the opportunity? And then you can act on them. You're going to act from a place of gratitude instead of a place of absolute disappointment or even like anger, you know?
Well, and then you're in a position to receive a positive result, you know, versus a negative one. You know,
absolutely.
So you put yourself in a better position, I believe, too. So I love I'm stealing that, by the way. Gratitude and opportunity. I'll say you said
absolutely.
It,
yeah, no, absolutely. Give me credit, and if you don't, that's okay, because the world's going to get better.
I'm gonna give you credit.
And I'm gonna keep using that one. It's a good one. It's probably one of the cool things that I've come up with, and it works every time. It's the thing that works for every single challenge, and it works for every single problem. You know, so if it works, I'm gonna keep using it.
Yeah, you should, absolutely. So as we begin to close, I want you to share with the audience, how can they find you? How can they connect with you? How can they get coached by you, trained by you?
Sure.
All of those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to tap YB Wellness right here on NIKKI's IG, I'm at YB Wellness. It stands for Yancy Berry Wellness. So YB Wellness on Instagram. And you can also go to yancyberry.com and you can connect with me that way, yancyberry.com. You can email me through there. Any way you want to connect with me works. I answer every single direct message. I usually respond to most comments at this moment in time. I know it's only going to be so long before I can do that.
Right. Right.
I really do my best to connect with people every chance I get.
Yeah. Well, also share about the celebrity clients that you have, just so people know that you're making moves. I've been watching you, you know, go from level to level. So I'm just so proud that I know you and I'm connected to someone that's doing so many great things.
Thank you. Thank you. For me, every single person is important, you know, not just celebrities, you know, but I've been really fortunate. I've been training Common for a few years, and that's been fantastic. He's a good person, and he really works to help individuals as much as he can. He does so many things behind the scenes you guys have no idea. So I've been fortunate enough to work with Common for a few years, and I also have worked with Robin Thicke in the past. And fortunately for me, I reconnected with him, and on Wednesday at 10 o'clock Pacific, if you go to Robin Thicke's IG Live, we're going to get a workout in, you know, and I've been able to work with others as well. And we're just going to keep building and building. And then
Yes.
hopefully I have, you know, time and I'm not just working all the time. Hopefully I have time for working out myself and getting in my own exercise, you know, because I tend to work
Right.
12 hours a day.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, and you've coached me before and you've helped me so much, and I'm coming back, but I'm
I
kind of
know, that's it. That's it. I'm always
keep
here.
trying, right?
Yep, the universe always creates space. You know,
Hmm.
I've been fortunate enough that no matter how busy I get, I can always find room to work with somebody. So reach out to me and we'll find a way to connect. We'll find a way to get on the phone. We'll find a way to come up with a game plan, an action plan, and
Yes.
take action and fail forward.
Right. Well, I'm sure you guys are aware he is awesome and amazing, has a great comeback story. And I just thank you for taking your time out of your day, Yancy, to be here with
Yeah.
us and to share so many nuggets about what we can do to come back and bounce back from life's adversities. And so thank you all for, tuning in and watching us and listening and commenting. I really
Yeah.
appreciate you all, and just have a great day. And I'll
Yeah.
see you
Thank you so
soon,
much.
Yancy.
Thank you. I'm honored to be with you today, Nikki. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, everybody who joined. Well, be well and good. Best of luck. All the best, you guys. Go get them. This world is yours, and let's make this happen and grow in love. Be well, guys.
Yes,
Thank you, everyone.
I'll be back in 15 minutes with my next guest. So see you guys soon.
Bye, guys. Take
Bye
care.
bye.